Good morning. So we're carrying on with your work from maths from yesterday. Now yesterday you looked at kilograms, which is quite a heavy thing to hold. Today we're going to be looking at things that are a bit lighter and what we would use there. So these items, you can see we've got a paper clip, a pencil, a 20p coin and a rubber. They're all pretty light. Would you use kilograms to measure the mass of these things? Have a little pause and think. So, you wouldn't, because a kilogram is much, much heavier. If you've got a bag of sugar at home, a bag of sugar is roughly a kilogram, and you'll know that that's a very heavy thing compared to a pencil. So, we're going to introduce today the 1 kilogram mass. I have some here, and they weigh next to nothing. Now again, if you wanted to, you could pause and you could have a little look for a paper clip. Don't worry if you haven't got one, a sheet of paper, a pencil, something very light, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about mass-wise. So this weighs 1 gram, and as you can see, it's super light. So this is what we're going to use today. Now, it says use a balance to measure the mass. I don't expect you to have a balance at home, and to be honest, it's really tricky to get into balance with something so light. So what we're going to do is look at the picture representations that we've got here. Can you see on this side of the scale we've got a paper clip, and on this side of the scale we've got a 1 gram mass. Have a think. What could you tell me, looking at that scale, about the mass of that paper clip? That's right. You will have noticed that the paper clip is exactly level with the 1 gram mass, which tells us that that must weigh 1 gram. So the paper clip has a mass of about 1 gram. This is a little investigation you could do later at home. You could have a look and see if there are any other items you can find that weigh the same as a paper clip. Now, this is not in your book. This is a skill for you to practice for some other questions later. Here I have a scale. It's a different type of scale. It's the one you might find in your kitchen. I find them much easier to use. Here it says 0. Here it says 100, and I wondered, because this isn't really a year 2 level scale, if you could figure out what would go in between. I'll give you a second to think. Well, let's have a look and see. 50 grams. So the scale will count 0, 50 and 100, because 50 is half of 100, 5 is half of 10, 50 is half of 100. If I move the next one along, you see it comes to 150. So I've got 50, 100, 150, 200. Count with me. 0, 50, 100 grams, 150 grams, 200 grams. What do you think's behind this one? If you said 250 grams, you would be right. 250 grams, 300 grams. You're probably already predicting and maybe shouting at your screen. What's going to be behind this one? 350 grams and 400. That will come in very useful later. Just count round one last time with me. 0, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. You maybe heard that pattern there. You could also ask an adult for help. These are also not in your book, but a bit of extra practice for you for some of the questions you will see later on. Here we have a cereal box and 100 gram weight. That would be 100 of these, or approximately 100 paper clips. On this side, we've got 300 gram weights. What could we say about the mass of this side? That's right, 300 grams. So if this side of the scale weighs 300 grams, what must this side weigh? Take a moment to think. That's right, 300 grams. Maybe you've spotted the difficulty. If I wanted to work out the weight of the cereal, the mass of the cereal, what could I do? Again, pause the video and have a little think. Right, so if I know this in total is 300 grams, here I know is 100 grams, I could do 300 grams minus 100 grams, and that would leave me with 200 grams. So therefore I could say the mass of the cereal is 200 grams. The mass of the cereal is 200 grams. The mass of the cereal is 200 grams. Your turn. I'll do one more example with you. This time we have 50 gram weight here and 100 gram weight here. I have a 50 gram weight here and a 50 gram weight here and a ball. Can you work out, pause the tape if you need to, the total mass of this side of the scale? So, I'll add the hundreds together first because that's easiest. 100, 200. I could say they're 200. Now we did some counting of 50s. We went 50, 100. So actually I know that these two combined are also 100 grams. So what can I say I have in total? 100, 200, 300. This side of the scale is 300 grams. They are balanced. So what must this side weigh? That's right, 300 grams. Again, look at what I know. What do I know? I know I have a 50 gram mass here and a 50 gram mass here. We've already discovered that makes 100 grams. So the weight of the ball, well, it's going to be 300. Take away the 100 grams. So the weight, the mass of the ball is 200 grams. So in your guided practice, you could have a little turn now at looking through that in your books and working out the approximate mass of the can. I have blown those and retyped them there because they're not the biggest or clearest, especially if you're getting old like me. So we have 50 grams here, 100 gram here, 100 gram here, and 100 gram here. And look, these are perfectly balanced. Pause the video and work out what that would be. How did you get on? 100, 200, 300, 350 on this side, which means if this is balance, this must be 350, and it's important to write the grams on this side. So we can say the mass of the drink can is about 350 grams. Again, here are some more examples for you to now work through in your book. I will leave this screen up here, which you can pause because it's got that little counting in 50 scale that we talked about earlier. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. Okay, the answers will be available online later for you to look through those. Good luck, enjoy, and let us know how you get on with that. When you get onto your workbook, it's page, I don't know why I skipped on, 191. Enjoy.